Ian, are you shocked if I tell you? Because I know you were there on the batter's box warming up there to come in. Are you shocked if I tell you that there are dolphin bars all over the world?
No. Why would I be shocked about that?
I don't think every team has that. I don't believe that the
Really?
Texans have. I don't believe the Bucks have Bucks bars all over the world.
Well,
It's just. I mean, it's pretty
the
impressive.
Dolphins they've had their moments in history, and they've certainly had their reasons why the world has tuned in. And I don't know this, but sort of anecdotally, my guess is the reason that some teams resonate so well internationally is when there was only like 2 or 3 games on TV during a given Sunday. Was that team on there or not? I mean, that's why the Cowboys and Steelers resonate. That's why the Packers, the Dolphins had Dan Marino. You remember him? He was the quarterback.
I remember.
A must-see for anyone who likes incredible talent. So my guess is they sort of got an international – that guy, there you go. They got an international following when he was kind of in his heyday, and that has continued. These sorts of things are so cool. Like being able to go to a random place in the world and then you get to a bar to watch your team and you're surrounded by 30 people who are like into it and speaking your language. Like that is a very, very cool thing.
Dude, I was in Brooklyn, Slattery's. That's a Dolphins bar in Brooklyn. Like that's like nuts. I'm sorry,
Get some
no,
good
it's in
barbecue in
Times
Brooklyn. You got some great barbecue there. I swear to God.
But seriously, like it's
Hometown
funky.
barbecue in Brooklyn is amazing.
By the way, the owners of Slomin's Home Shield, Miami Dolphins fans.
Not surprising.
How about that? So, and they're in the Northeast. But it's just weird. I broadcasted from a Dolphins bar in Las Vegas, dude. Like, it's just like it's the craziest thing. It's really cool. All right, so I want the skinny. Let's go. Give me the good stories. Sean Kugler, what the hell did he do in Mexico? Come on. How many hookers did he hire?
Well, I mean, here's what we know about Sean Kugler. He was in Mexico with the team. There was an incident involving Mexican authorities where they were called and had to deal with the behavior that he put forth. None of it was good. As soon as the team learned of it, they did their own little deep dive, and then he was fired. That is what we know for sure. I know there's some other stuff out there. None of it is good. I would say certainly will raise some questions about the culture of the Cardinals, I would say. None of this is good. And, alarming, and the second coach to get in trouble, second coach to be fired. It's been a bad season all around for the Cardinals, and this is one reason why.
So I just want to have a little fun with this. Since the kid got in the league, he had to face a ton of heat, obviously, for 2 years. And now it looks like he's kind of, getting some of that heat off him and all that kind of stuff. So let me ask you something. Kyler Murray has never had a stretch of throwing the football the way Tua has, either in the first 3 games or in these last, 4 games. And yet he's kind of been put on a pedestal, really hasn't necessarily been critiqued. The offseason, that whole thing about studying film and all that, do you think that that's kind of turning the tide now? Is it finally going to catch up to him? Because here's a guy that I've believed in him, actually, but when you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'm starting to think that I'm wrong about Kyler Murray and becoming a franchise type player. Because one of the things that I see in him that I like is he's a passer. He can pass from the pocket. But
he scrambles to pass, which is really a great trait.
Yes, but he has yet to do it consistently and put up big numbers on a consistent basis. And he has players and he has talent around him. So talk to me about Kyler Murray and how he's pretty much avoided the heat that Tua could not avoid from the second he walked into the league.
Well, I would say with Kyler Murray, he is so supremely talented and so fun to watch. Different from Tua. Tua is talented also, obviously, but he's not that kind of like fast twitch athletic freak that anytime Kyler Murray's on TV, I'll watch. And so our opinions as a public are colored by what we like. And Tua is, regular speed. He is probably more accurate than people give him credit for. He can throw it well enough, but I don't think anything he does is eye-popping. A lot of things that Kyler Murray does is eye-popping. So I think that really sort of colors the viewpoint because we're constantly like, wow, can you believe that? And the splash plays sometimes take over. And in the NFL, and it's like this in other sports too, when you have guys who flash all the time, it kind of makes you forget about all the bad plays that came before that. So that's why I think the public perception is what it is. If you ask me, though, like, what's the reason that Kyler Murray, what doubt did he give people that he was a franchise guy? I would say that moment in training camp, we learned that the team didn't really think he watched film. That was bad. And that was, I think, the first inclination where people were like, what do we really know about Kyler? And the pressure was on him to have a great year, and he has had anything but. We'll see if
and
he
his
comes
lack
back.
of maturity, by the way, coming off the field and ripping his coach. I thought that was a really bad look for him, too.
Well, see, I don't mind stuff like that because if we see like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers do it, we go, oh, he's a fiery competitor.
No. The difference is you accomplish something. You are still a Padawan. So while you're a Padawan, you need to shut your mouth and listen to people and do things. But once you get to Jim Kelly and you get to Aaron Rodgers status and you get to Tom Brady status, I think you can mother F some people. I think you can have disagreements with people. I don't have a problem with that. Once you've earned the stripes, that's where I have a problem is when you haven't earned the stripes and you're running your mouth like you think you've arrived. And that's where I think it rubs me at least the wrong way.
On the other hand, he is a franchise quarterback. He does make, almost $50 million per year, and he was the number one pick. So he has been the guy in Arizona for 4 years. So, if you're the leader of that team, you can do some things. I know what you're saying. I'm not totally in disagreement, but I will say that even though he hasn't won a Super Bowl or a playoff game,
not anything,
or a playoff game, I do think he's earned the right to say stuff like that. So I didn't have much of a problem with that. I did have a problem with them putting in writing that he needs to watch film. That is alarming.
Yeah, no, that's disturbing as hell because that should be automatic of every quarter. Every quarterback should have the attitude that I've got to set the standard and I've got to outwork everybody to make sure that that way I can demand the most of everybody because I'm putting in as much or more work than everybody else. And I think that that's kind of part of the leadership. All right. Biggest surprise team in the NFL to this point and the most disappointing team in the NFL to this point.
I still say the Minnesota Vikings, biggest surprise. I know they got shellacked last week. I am not like everyone else. I generally don't tend to read way too much into these like horrible defeats because if you're going to lose by 15, that's the same thing as losing by 30. Like it doesn't invalidate anything the Vikings did. It's just they got caught in a bad day. It's like I remember when, I was covering the Patriots and they lost like 35-3. Or they won 35-3 against the Jets and ended up losing in the playoffs against the same Jets in the same year. Those big time losses don't always mean anything. So I would say the Vikings are sort of my surprise. Disappointing, probably the Raiders. There's been some other disappointing, but probably the Raiders. They're talented. I kind of missed the issues on the offensive line. I missed the talent issues on defense. They've had some injuries. Darren Waller hadn't played much. Hunter Renfrow hadn't played much. I still thought they would be better, and I think they can be better, but that would be my disappointing team.
Why should we believe that Josh McDaniels can actually figure it out when this is his second go-around? Plus, he had a third attempt, but unfortunately he backed out of it with the Colts. And so I'm just wondering, what's the track? Why should Raiders fans feel like there's hope there with Josh McDaniels in place?
I don't know that he's given them any yet. So I think that's okay that they're skeptical. It's fine. I mean, I think last year they kind of rode the wave a little bit. They had, I think it was 4 overtime games and 3 last-second kicks. Like they won all the one-score games last year, which they get credit for. But, it felt like it was a little bit of an anomaly. I just don't know that they have the talent this year that's like to really, really compete. Should have got better. Should have won the first 2 games. There's definitely a bunch of should haves. But anyway, to answer your question, I think it's okay for Raiders fans to be like, we don't know what we have, and we're just going to wait and see. He's not going anywhere this year, so I don't think there's going to be a decision. I do think they face if you're a first-year coach, you really, really, really struggle in the first year. Second year has a lot of pressure comes with it, and I think that's what Josh McDaniels will face.
I already rented a house in Arizona a couple weeks ago for the week of the Super Bowl. So how realistic are Super Bowl chances for the Miami Dolphins? What would you tell the Miami Dolphin fan base?
I think it's realistic. I mean, there's a lot of teams that get in the playoffs, so you figure like it's a little more heavily weighted to the better teams, but really it's sort of anyone's game. So I think they got as much a chance as anyone. And when you have talent and you have weapons, I would say they got a shot. Not a favorite, but not crazy either. And I think that's a pretty good position for the Dolphins to be in. They spent a lot of money in the offseason. They put a lot into this. They seem to have spent good money in all the right places, and I think they're being coached well. So yeah, I think they got a shot. I don't think your house is going to go to waste. Although I don't think your house is going to go to waste anyway. So
no, definitely not. And I mean, we'll have fun one way or another. Hey, look, this is a better team than the Bengals team that made it to the Super Bowl, right?
That's the way I look at it. I don't know about that.
Really?
The Bengals team was really good, really, really good.
Okay,
we'll see though. I mean, they might be good too. And if you look at the Dolphins, you say, where's their weakness? Kind of like, I don't know that there's any real glaring one, which is good.
Ian, life used to make sense for us in the offseason. The East-West Shrine used to have their own week. Then the Senior Bowl would have their own week. Now, I don't know what the hell they're going. They're crossing over each other.
Yep.
So I need you to make a decision for this platform.
Okay.
So do I go out to the Senior Bowl and cover the Senior Bowl, which I know they have the top players of the offseason. I get that. And then I would shoot over to the Super Bowl week, right? Mm-hmm. Or do I go to Vegas where the East-West is going on practically at the same time and there's the Pro Bowl going on? So I cover two events for the price of one, and then go down to Arizona, which is right there, a hop, step, and a jump from it. What should this platform cover? What do you think is more productive?
I think that's a hard question, and I think there's a lot of people, including myself, in the NFL, trying to figure that out. East-West Shrine and Senior Bowl seem to be butting heads and going head-to-head a little bit.
Why?
I don't know.
What happened to it? We used to be able to go to both. That's what I loved. I loved going to the East-West, then going home, kissing the wife, and then taking off again and going to the Senior Bowl. And it was beautiful.
I think that put the East-West in a position where it was like under the Senior Bowl, and I'm not so sure that's where it wanted to be, frankly. So they're kind of taking on the Senior Bowl a little bit. They got the staffs this year. They got the number 1 and 2 pick probably are going to coach the team. So are they going to get a big quarterback? I think that's a question. There's some stuff going on there, but I think a lot of people, including myself, are trying to figure out which game do I go to and what's the best way to handle the offseason, honestly.
So you think Eric Galko is going to do what others have not been able to do?
I don't know. We will find out, though. They got some good plans. Senior Bowl is also really good. I love the people there. I've been a big fan of that for years. Got a Senior Bowl helmet in my background. Can you see it?
Yeah. I have a Senior Bowl jersey over here, so I'm with you. I got a big old Senior Bowl jersey hanging and framed up. I love the Senior Bowl. I just wish they would have their own weeks, man. So that way it'd get the attention of the entire NFL. I mean,
I hear you.
Isn't that the case? Wouldn't that be why split up the scouts? Why split up the league? I don't get it. So you have no decision for me.
No decision for you. But not yet. Maybe I will. I'll see what my own decision is. That's a big question as well. We'll see. We got a little bit.
So you're deciding the same thing, right? Because we get the college and the pros in Vegas.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I might be able to squeeze in a concert or two while I'm there. That's always possible.
Sure.
That's it. All right, tell them what you're doing in NFL Network this week, my brother.
Well, we got big week. We got game day morning on Thursday and Saturday because we get all the Thanksgiving Day games. Really, really, really good slate of games. maybe the best one
Yes.
in about 10 years. Got a lot of news, of course, and I'm really excited about it. So let's go.
Let's do it, baby. Follow him on Twitter at RapSheet. Catch him every week here with our Red Recover look around the NFL. Ian, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There you go. So what do I do, folks? Do we go to Vegas? Do we go to the Senior Bowl? Which one do we do? Do you guys want us to cover the Senior Bowl and the top players from the Senior Bowl? And I'm kind of thinking the Dolphins don't have a lot of picks. So is that really that important? I got to hey, listen, I'm sorry, but I got to think selfishly, okay? I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm going to think selfishly every time for the Dolphins. But or do we go to the East-West? And but maybe they might get higher end players at the East-West, and we get the Pro Bowl. So we get to cover 2 events. You never know. That is your look around the NFL.
This is the Big O Show.